You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't, 'cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, life. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. And you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. Around your matrix and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. And you didn't win this, it's a part of the
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Victorious! Victorious!
Hey. Happy Friday, Junior. Welcome to this week's episode of Dr. Victorious. I am Dr. Nicole D. Vick. Yay! Woo! Dr. Victorious is where we explore the intersections of social justice, wellness, and what it means to show up fully human, especially from a Black perspective, because I'm Black. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. There's a cute t-shirt I saw. And I think it's based on this saying that we're starting to hear, right? I want to be Black in every lifetime. It's a cute t-shirt that says that. I have to get it. And it's designed for, I guess, women, or, because it has the grill and it got the diploma and the nails. And I'm like, yes, I would love to be Black in every single lifetime. This month, we're going to talk about this week, talk about Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm here. I really am. I'm here. Because oftentimes conversations around mental health often discourage people from seeking help because there's still a lot of stigma. Now, I will say things I feel like have gotten a lot better than they used to be, especially in the Black community around mental health, but there's still a lot of stigma around it. And we're going to talk about that and some of the impacts around, when we don't address mental health, what happens. I just want to give y'all a quick recap about what I've been doing because I took a little break. It's summertime. It's time to be outside. It is hot here in Los Angeles. I don't know if you can tell. I probably look very glowy, but that's because I'm sweating. Okay. I'm like, it is very hot and I got these lights on me. It's crazy. I'm always cold, so usually heat does not bother me. But when you get to a certain level of heat, I'm like, okay, it's hot. Somebody turn on the fan. And if you live in South LA or any of the older parts of Los Angeles, a lot of our homes don't have central air or central heat for that matter. And so it's fans and you open the window and hope for the best. That's pretty much what's going on. So I'm over here, who is, entirely covered in fur. She over here struggling, laying on the floor. I'm like, I am so sorry, ma'am. I don't know what to tell you. We having a hard time. But I will share that earlier this month I went to Phoenix to go see my daughter and hang out with her and Norman, who is her partner, and Mason the dog and Kiwi the turtle, and hung out and had a good time. And it has become a tradition. I didn't realize it, but every time I see her, I always come back with a new hairstyle. So this is Miracle Knots. The knots part of that is scary, but we'll see when it's time to take it out if the knots come out and my hair stay in. We don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. But other than that, I love it. It's so cute and it looks like kind of my hair to me. It feels like really natural. We went to Buc-ee's. They just got a Buc-ee's in the Phoenix area. I think it's Goodyear, Arizona has a Buc-ee's now. Let me just say, walked into that thing and it sounded like a stadium. I was like, are we at a concert hall? It was so loud. That place is huge. Incredibly efficient though. Like lots of stations of hot food, cold food, snacks, clothes. Like they had grills. You could buy a grill, to cook on and stuff. It was crazy. But it was cool to go, kind of like a little field trip. We went to go see what the Buc-ee's is about. And of course, there's a gas station outside. But that place is, imagine like Costco, but a Costco 7-Eleven. Like, does that make sense? Like a Costco 7-Eleven. That's what Buc-ee's is. It's a 7-Eleven, but it's Costco sized. And a whole bunch of people is up in here and it's crowded. Crazy. Last thing I'll say about my vacation. So I flew Frontier Airlines for the first time, and the flight was very inexpensive. I was like, what? Less than $100 round trip. It was like 89 something round trip. But see, what happens is once you start going through the payment process, it's like choose your seat, and then there's prices for your seat. Baby, give me the free seat. I don't care. I'm only going to be on this plane for 1 hour. Then it's like, oh, do you want to carry on a bag or check a bag? It's $79. What you mean $79? What you talking about? So this is what I did. Let me tell y'all what I did. I said I can mail my clothes to Andrea's house for less than $79. And that's exactly what I did. I got a large priority mail box. And remember, priority mail is flat fee. Everything you can fit into that box for one price. So I carefully rolled everything up and did all kind of, things to get everything in that box. Now, the good thing is she was in LA Juneteenth. So I gave her the box and she drove the box home. And so now we're going to ship the box back. Now that's the downside. You don't get your stuff. You got to wait for your child to mail your stuff back to you. And whenever she feel like doing it is when you get it back, but it's still cheaper than $79 each way, checking the dang on bag. No. So if you are traveling and maybe going to see family and not a resort or, somewhere like that, mail your stuff to your people and do the thing. Yes, 79. I was like, hello, because even Southwest is like 30 something, and I was irritated by that. But I was like 79. So I walked on that thing with a personal item, and that's it. My little small, super small backpack with just my purse in there and like my passport and stuff. Very small bag. That's all I took because everything was already there and it was perfect. And so she'll ship it back for like 20 something bucks. I'm good. So just a thought, if you're thinking about traveling and you want the Frontier airline price, but you don't want to pay for the bag, just mail your stuff, ship it, So yeah, yes. Crazy. So, all right, y'all. My bad. Enough of what's been going on with me. Hopefully, y'all are doing okay. It's a lot going on in the news. This is a lot. It's a lot. Everything is happening. And my scroll doesn't even reflect all the things that have happened. We'll get into some of the stuff later on in the coming weeks because I want to spend more time on a lot of the news that's happening. But, it is what it is. Just want to let you know how I'm doing. And I hope you guys are doing okay. All right, y'all, let's go into the scroll. Yeah. Now, this first one, hilarious. I saw that and cracked up. J. Palm Comedy said, in When Doves Cry, I thought Prince's father's name was Tilbo. Maybe I'm just like my father, Tilbo. What? I said, wait a minute now. What is your ears hearing? Tilbo? And it's funny what we hear and what we hold on to. No, his daddy name got to be Tilbo because that's what he said in the song. Baby, that ain't what he said. He said too bold, or is it too cold? Oh, wait, I don't even know, but I know it ain't no Tilbo. And why when Tilbo, I read that, I'm like, you talking about Bilbo Baggins? That just made me laugh because I know a lot of us mishear lyrics all the time and swear up and down. No, that's what he said. No, just like that song. What's the one? Lloyd, he's 5'2" or whatever. She's 5'2". It's like that ain't what he said. He said she's fine too. People was mad about that. So it was just, I don't know, that just struck me and I was tickled. You see my little laughing emojis down there because I was like, this is hilarious. The next one, yeah, I don't know who Tilbo is, child. But J Palm Comedy was seriously like, this is Tilbo. The Prince Daddy named Tilbo. No, hilarious. The next one is another laugh that I love. Ha ha. I just be on Threads just chuckling all day long. This says, my ex posted a status saying he just gonna date himself. I'm just gonna date myself. So I commented, you can do better than that. Now I'm blocked. Hilarious. We always have one thing about Black people in general. We always gonna clown. Always. Listen, I didn't put this in the scroll stroke, but I know y'all heard about Kev on stage and what's going on with him. And so he admitted that, in order to remain faithful to his wife, he does some, some things to himself, which I mean, okay. But people was up in arms about it. But somebody finally made one that was funny. And I'm like, that's what, yes, make fun of him. That's funny. Make it funny, not make it all like, oh my God, it's horrible. It's funny. And so we will always find joy and laughter in something. We will tease you to death. And it's hilarious. I love that about us. We will find that little bit of la. You can do better than that. Don't date yourself. Don't do that. Hilarious. And the last one is FOMO, fear of missing out. I want you guys to go to this event before it closes on July 19th. Beautiful event hosted by Community Coalition, which is a amazing social justice organization here in South Los Angeles, founded by Karen Bass, who is now our mayor. There is an organization and a art installation called We the People, and it closes on July 19th. I went to it on July, I think 2nd or 3rd, so I got to see it. It's beautiful, beautiful artwork. They were even having like programming throughout the different dates. People would come and speak. They would have open mic and stuff like that. So I would imagine that they're going to continue that up until the 19th when it closes. So that's a few days from now. If you were in South Los Angeles, it's right on Western, south of Slauson. So you would go past where the shopping center is. It's on the right-hand side. Beautiful facility. I think it's used for other things. Somebody said they know someone that got married there. So it's a venue, but they have recreated, put beautiful artwork. It's amazing. And I got to see some friends that I hadn't seen in a while, got to reconnect with people. So if you like me and know everybody and everything, you've been and seen some of your friends in there. So definitely check it out. Go to the website. They have a special website, We the People South LA, where you can go on there and see what's happening on each day, their hours and whatnot. And it's free. That's the most important thing. There's no cost to attend. I think they even have like a cool little store. You can buy t-shirts and other sorts of things and support. So definitely go check it out. I'm big on free things. There's a whole host of other free things. Maybe I'll try to make sure I add those as I do these episodes. For example, the county parks and rec, or is it beaches and harbor? One of the county departments, they do a summer concert series at Burton Chase Park in Marina Del Rey, out by the water. And I know, what's his name? I see Carl Thomas will be there on one of the dates. And I can't remember. There's someone else that I was like, I got to try to go. And it's free. Now you got to get over there to Marina Del Rey and you got to, get you a space and sit down and enjoy the evening. But free is always good. LACMA every Friday has that jazz thing that's going on free. Like y'all, keep your money in your pocket because the economy is bad. And so just enjoy yourself for free 99. Also, next year, it's probably too late now, but keep in mind for next year, for example, Parks and Rec and some other entities were giving out $1 tickets to the Hollywood Bowl. I was able to go to the Juneteenth event at the Hollywood Bowl, $1. I bought 4 tickets and we went to the Hollywood Bowl for a little bit of nothing. And so keep up with that kind of stuff, because listen, gas is high and everything is going cray cray. At least have you some fun for $0. Okay. So, okay, good. Thank you. I will. I'll make sure to try to put some of that stuff up as I see it. Because free is fabulous to me as far as I'm concerned. And then you put your little outfits on and be outside, and be seen and see people and learn something new. So, all right, let's go to commercial and then we'll jump right into the topic around mental health. See you in a little bit.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
The news is divided. Ground News puts it back together, with coverage from thousands of outlets around the world in one place. So you can spot sensational reporting, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Beside every headline, you'll see who owns the source, how reliable it is, and if they have a political bias. Multiple perspectives side by side, giving you a well-rounded view of today's biggest stories. Visit ground.news to learn more.
And we are back. As I said earlier, July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And I just want to have some conversations around it. I feel like, in my opinion, mental health is not talked about or discussed enough. Specifically in our community, I think we're getting better. We even have our little phrases, go talk to the lady, which means go talk to the physical therapist. See, I'm stuck on my ankle, child. Go talk to the therapist, go talk to the counselor, go talk to someone, right, to get some support and help. We've even kind of had that language has started to enter our language around things. And so it's really exciting to hear, but I think we still have a long way to go. And for me, mental health is a public health issue, right? Easily. It affects individuals, it affects families, workplaces, schools, and communities. And of course, public health is about community focus. Mental health can also influence physical health. Think about it. If you are struggling with your mental health, maybe you are depressed or have some other mental health condition, you may not be taking your medication like you're supposed to. You may be not taking care of your personal needs. You could be neglecting eating. There's a whole host of things that can be a result of that. And then, this conversation for me is about prevention, which is a public health function, right? We try to prevent things before they happen. So how do we increase awareness and also think about prevention and treatment too, to some degree? And we want to make sure we're not just being responsive to like a crisis or something when something happens, but that we're also focusing on prevention. And again, I don't think we spend enough money or focus on prevention in general, and specifically when it comes to mental health. Okay. And so I really think that if we want healthier communities, healthier Black communities, we have to create conditions where people can thrive and not just simply survive, right? We're moving beyond survival and into thriving. How do we get people to thrive in the communities that they live in? And we have to address people's mental health in order to do so, right? So there was a graphic that I saw on the California Black Health Network's Instagram account, and it talks about depression and how prevalent depression is in our communities. And, you know, it's not a new thing. I think that for many of us, if we think about it, we can think about in our own families or in our communities, you know, grandma, auntie, or whoever probably has had some mental health issues or struggles with mental health due to a number of things, right? Historically and ongoing, we've had issues with the economy, with being able to afford our lives, with things like I would call collective trauma. When we see something happen like what happened with Nolan Wells, like those things can have huge impacts on our mental health. And if we are not taking care of ourselves or being aware of what can be leading into potential mental illness or mental health issues, then, you know, things arise, problems arise. Dealing with racism and discrimination can have huge impacts on a myriad of our aspects of our health, physical health, emotional health, mental health, and our well-being. Economic inequities, child, when you can't afford your life, depression can come into play, stress as well. Also being witness to or a victim of community violence can, you know, that's when trauma comes in. Things like PTSD can become a huge factor. Grief and loss, especially when there's no place to put that grief and loss. There's no way to get help. Something has happened, maybe a family member has passed, or you just have been witness to and seen a lot of death, and you don't really have any way to channel that or get help processing it, definitely can cause mental health issues. And then, as I said earlier, the cultural stigma, we are doing a lot better. We will say, go talk to the lady. I think, you know, there's companies now where you can kind of pay per, you know, visit to get mental health services, counseling and whatnot, and therapy. So I think in some ways we have gotten a little bit better with talking about mental health. We've gotten a little bit better with reducing the stigma, but it is still there. One of the things is, especially for Black women, is expectation to be strong, to push through, to persevere despite, right? There's all this stuff going on, all this baggage we're holding, and we're still supposed to just continue. I think that also adds to it. One of the other things, and I was actually curious about it, and I regret not digging deeper. One of the other issues I think is really problematic is we have separated physical health from mental health, right? They're like separate. When I broke my ankle, the expectation is you go to the doctor, they do surgery, and you walk around with a boot on until you're well, and then you're, you know, physical therapy, and then you go on your way. You're good, you're recovered, and you move on. But we don't see mental health the same way. It's seen more as a personal failure or a character flaw, or what's wrong with you type thing, as opposed to, oh, I need to get help. Just like I got help with my ankle, right? I don't know why we have that separation in perception of mental health versus physical health. I think that is probably one of the biggest problems with how we perceive mental health and mental wellness in our community. I don't know if it comes from very early on in our, you know, in our history as humans, where people thought that certain types of mental illness were caused by, you know, spirits, or I don't know if that's where, like, no, you go over there. I'm not really clear on that. And I definitely would love to do some more digging and research on that. But we have to move away from that and really start to see mental health and physical health very similarly. If something is wrong, if you have a rash on your arm, you go to the doctor. If you feel depressed, it should be just as simple. Oh, I don't feel well, let me go to the doctor, as opposed to maybe feeling like I have failed in some way, therefore this is why I feel the way I feel. And I think we need to work through that. And I think once we get past that, and make mental health services more accessible and affordable, I think we will go way further than we are now with addressing some of the stigmas around mental health. And then, you know me, because I'm the public health person, we can't talk about these things in isolation, right? The person that maybe has needs assistance with their mental wellness also probably or maybe needs safe housing. They also may have issues with finding stable employment. They may be financially insecure. They may have a lack of social support. They may not have access to health care or live in a safe neighborhood, may not have access to good education, and don't feel like they belong in their communities. So like all of those things often are compounding factors that add to whatever else is going on, or those issues can be the direct contributor to the person's lack of mental wellness, right? They're stressed because they don't have stable employment. They're depressed because all of these things start to stack up on them. Now I can't afford my housing. I don't have access to healthcare anymore. My neighborhood is unsafe. Those things can layer on top and exacerbate what's happening to a person, or can actually be sort of the cause of the issues. And so we can't pretend that the person that is sleeping in their car is separate from the person that needs food, that has food insecurity issues, right? Or separate from the person that needs help with job placement. Oftentimes those people are the same people, right? They're not, oh, that's over there, that person's over there. They often have the same issues and they are collectively struggling in a number of ways. So I think that we have to talk about the fact that mental health doesn't exist in a vacuum, that oftentimes it exists along with some of the other stressors in our lives. It can either be the cause of the mental illness or, lack of mental wellness, or add to it and make things worse. And it definitely doesn't make things better when you do not have a support system, when you don't have someone that you can call and say, I don't feel well, and I'm not sure what's happening to me. I don't know what's wrong. What do I do? And so for someone to say, hey, well, let's see if we can get you some help. Let's go to the doctor. Let's talk to someone. It doesn't help when you don't have those kinds of support systems available to you. And I think more often than not, in the age of social media, sometimes we feel like we have a lot of connections, but at the same time, we're actually more isolated than ever. That connection is actually artificial, because just because we think we see someone on social media a lot, oh, my friend is fine, she's posting about her dog, oh, she's good, but you haven't talked to your friend with the dog to actually see how they're doing, right? So I think sometimes social media can mask or create this artificial connection when actually we're not reaching out to people like we used to before. So something to think about as well. So I think there's a lot of things you might be thinking, well, what? I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help my friends. I don't know how to help people. I think one of the things you can do is to normalize conversations around mental wellness, and be open and allow people to share and not be judgmental, and definitely share resources if they're available to you. The second thing is check in on family and friends. If you haven't heard from somebody in a while, hey, you good? Are you okay? How's things? How's life? How's everything going? Seek support when needed. That's the other side of it. If you feel like you are losing or slipping away or losing your grip on what's happening in your life, definitely try to seek support when you need it. Don't let it get too far gone and you feel like you just, it's too much now, and you're overwhelmed and then you're isolated. And then practice self-care, but realize that self-care can only go so far. That depending on what's happening, medication it may be necessary, and medication is not a bad thing. Definitely take an informed approach to medication, understand what it is, understand what it could do, what it can't do. But don't be like, well, I don't need that. I think sometimes we get into that too. I don't need that. Maybe it will help you and it's worth it to try. But yes, do your research, do your due diligence, talk to your doctors, and see if that's what's needed, because self-care is important, but sometimes it doesn't go far enough. and there may be other things that are needed. And so you won't know that until you ask or talk to someone about what's happening. On the community level, I think that there is an obligation and responsibility of our faith communities. Like I said, sometimes we just tell people to pray, and I'm not saying praying is bad. Please do pray. However, also make your appointment to go talk to somebody, go talk to the lady, right? And I think that faith communities have a really important space in making sure those kinds of healthy and honest messages are placed into congregations so that people know, oh, you know what? Let me, yes, pray or talk to my pastor, but I also need to do something else. I need to have a doctor's appointment. I need to talk to someone. Schools as well, you know, we're seeing younger and younger children with anxiety and other types of concerns. And it's for whatever reason, right? But I think schools have a place in being able to sort of triage or to pay attention to what's happening with their students and have conversations with the parents about what they're seeing and being helpful in offering resources and support when needed. I know a lot of times schools, there's an issue with funding. They don't have a school nurse. They don't have a school psychologist. But there are also other ways to work with your communities. There's community-based organizations that can collaborate and often be a support service to the school community and whatnot. Employers, listen, sometimes y'all be the main problem. You are the reason why I'm stressed and have anxiety. You know what I mean? And so we got to be real about that. And so to me, they also have a responsibility to check in, make sure and it's not about the pizza party. You know, I'm a workforce person. It's not about, oh, we got free pizza. It's not that, right? It's about being honest about the kind of workload that you're giving to people, about your work processes and practices. Are they causing harm? Are they causing people to burn out? What's happening and how can we fix that so that people feel safe, psychologically safe at work and don't feel like they are being sort of piled on? Because when you take care of your workforce, guess what? They show up for you. But if you don't take care of them, they just leave. And so I think employers have a role in creating a space for mental wellness for their workforce. Community-based organizations, there's a number of them that do mental health services that promote positive spaces for people to go and whatnot. Local government as well. There's here in the county Department of Mental Health, they provide direct services. I don't know enough about the Department of Mental Health to really speak to it, but there is a county department that does that work. But you have to understand government can only go so far as well. They only can do so much, right? And if funding changes, then sometimes stuff goes away. And so they're there as more of a safety net. But it's really important to be aware of what they offer and provide, but also to think about some of these other sectors that can be very, very helpful to this kind of work. And I think broader, beyond, I think what a lot of us can do, but we should be thinking about is the investment in prevention. And so to me, when we think of systems level, how are we making sure that prevention services or mental health services are being funded? And so sometimes that requires us to vote a certain way, to say, yes, we want this to happen. So we have to be mindful of what we're seeing on the ballots when we are voting. I think it's important to figure out how to advocate for access to culturally responsive mental health care. Culturally responsive is so very important because I don't want to have to explain my Blackness to someone that I'm trying to get help from. So I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to go like, hey, you know what? And even at they understand the and I don't have to explain the right? We don't have to have this whole glossary of this is what I mean when I say this. It's really important for that care to be culturally responsive, because if it's not culturally responsive, most of the time I'm not coming back. That person that needs it the most will not return because they don't feel like they're being listened to and heard. We have to address structural inequities. We have to. And again, that's beyond the scope of one person. But if you are aware of the fact that some people get more access to treatment and care than other people, then we need to think about how we can fix that and how we rectify that. And then ultimately build healthier environments that reduce chronic stress, that reduce anxiety, that reduce harm, so that people are able to thrive, as we just said, and not just survive. So I don't know, I said a lot, but I'm hoping that this at least opens up your thought or mind around how we can ensure, especially in Black communities, where oftentimes there aren't enough services. There just aren't. Or there are services, but shoot, the waiting list is, a mile long, and people are waiting to get the help that they need. Even when they do decide they need it, it takes too long. So we're often on the bottom end of being able to access a lot of these services. So hopefully those little sort of snippets help you understand what's really going on. Let's go to commercial, and then we're going to close it out. I'll see you in a little bit.
This is Tammy from Tammy's Take, and you're watching Pyro Media Network. All right, and we're back. We're going to go to our doctor's note before we close out for the evening. Mental health isn't just about what's happening inside of us. It's also about what's happening around us. As I talked about, the social determinants of health. There's a lot that is happening around us that can directly impact our mental health. And, I want you to imagine for a second what would be possible if every neighborhood, workplace, school, and community intentionally supported mental well-being. What would our communities look like if we invested in creating the conditions for people, not just to survive, but to truly, truly thrive? And I'm gonna say something that's real controversial right now. It just hit me in my spirit, and I have to say it. I feel like in this country, maybe other countries, but in this country, it almost feels like people don't want us to thrive. Heck, they don't even really want us to survive, if you want to be real about it, but they certainly don't want to see us thrive. And I have proof of that, because when we are happy, when we have Black boy joy, Black girl joy, when you see the happiness, there's often a lot of anger that comes with that from folks that, right? And I feel bad about that. And it makes me feel bad. So I'm talking to you about Mental Health Awareness Month and how important it is for us to be aware of our mental health and to do things to take care of ourselves. But we can't ignore the fact that honestly, there's some people right now today alive here that don't want us to survive, and they certainly do not want us to thrive. And I think, we think, oh, that's back in the 60s. That's back in the civil rights movement, July 16, 2026. Yeah. So keep that in mind as well. Mental health awareness is so very important, but awareness alone doesn't change anything really as far as outcomes. It doesn't improve outcomes. It does create a level of knowledge, which is important, but awareness should really inspire action. And in public health, that means creating communities, workplaces, and systems that support mental well-being every day. So wishing you a mentally well life. And if you definitely need resources and help here in LA County, 311, You can call, or is it 211? I get them confused. 211, I'm sorry, it's 211. 311 is the city's line for services. 211 is the correct number to call if you need resources and services in regards to mental health, okay? There's also an organization, NAMI is the acronym. You can also look them up as well. So yeah, hopefully this has been informative and helpful. And we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you for watching. You all know where to find me. I have a beautiful website, www.NicoleDVick.com. It's so cute. Ooh. I have all sorts of things on that website. You can find old podcast episodes. You can find me as guest on other people's episodes. I've posted there. You can buy books. I have 3 for sale right now. Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light and Tough Times. That's the journal. Pushing Through, Find the Light in Every Lesson is my first book. And then my anthology, Triumph in the Trenches. I was talking to someone today about workforce development and organizational culture. That book right there is to help Black people navigate the workforce. It's the green book, but for Black working people. I have some copies here. If you want one, reach out. I will get it to you. Amazing book with 20 plus other authors. Groundbreaking work. I don't think there's anything else like it out there. Pick it up. All right. Oh, I'm on social media, mostly LinkedIn now. I got like 6,500 followers on LinkedIn. So I done grew my LinkedIn like, yes, really well. I post 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Usually something public healthy or workforce culture-y has come up. And I'm like, I want to talk about that. And it ends up on LinkedIn. I am also going to put together, I haven't told my producer yet, a Substack, because people have been telling me, girl, you need a Substack. I'm like, in September, we will have a Substack. So we will be writing long form in September. So look out for that as well. I'm also on Instagram at Dr. VICKtorious. That's the more professionally podcasty, workforcey thing. And then, of course, Nicole D. Vick is this. So I'll be talking about all kind of stuff. So that's the more personal side of my social media. Okay, y'all. That's it. I'm going to see you next week. Take care. Bye. Thank you, Cyrus. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.